solving two-step equations. Example 1. So I have negative 69 equals 4x plus 9 plus x. So I rewrite the equation, and my goal is to get plain numbers on one side and my variable on the other. So step 1, I like to draw a line down to help me keep the things separate. So I have 4x and x, which remember there's an imaginary 1. So 4x plus 1x is 5x. Minus 9 equals our negative 69. Then I need to add 9 to both sides. I'm going to bring down the 5x. So now I have negative 60 equals 5x. Divide each side by 5. Wind up with x equals negative 12. Now how do I check to see if it's right? I rewrite the equation. 4x minus 9 plus x. And I need to plug in my negative 12. Put this in my calculator, and both sides should equal negative 69. So negative 69, I plug that in, it equals negative 69. So it checks. Example 2. Negative 3 plus 6x minus 7x equals negative 10. Again, I need to combine my like terms. So I'm going to bring down my negative 3. And 6 minus 7 is negative 1x equals negative 10. Then I need to add 3 to each side. So I get negative 1x equals negative 7. Divide by negative 1. So x equals 7. Example 3. I did this in two different ways, so I can show you two different ways to do it. So first, I want to get the variable term alone, so I'm going to add 5 to both sides. So then I'm going to have 1 equals r over 20. What I like to do is turn that into a fraction and cross multiply, my next step. So this times this, r times 1. So 1 times r equals 1 times 20. So r equals 20 is my answer. Another way to do it is I'm going to add 5 to both sides. So I'm going to have 1 equals r over 20. And if I multiply each side by 20, that's the denominator, those cancel, leaving me with 20 equals r. Either way is completely correct. I can do this problem in two ways also. So the first way, because this is a fraction, I'm going to turn the answer into a fraction. So I'm just going to put it over 1. Then I'm going to cross multiply. So negative 1 times 6 and 1 times the x plus 5 plus x. So negative 1 times 6 is equal to 1 times 5 plus x. So this is negative 6 equals 5 plus x. I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides. So negative 11 equals x. The other way I can do it is multiply each side by 6 over 1. So then I have negative 6 equals, these cancel, 5 plus x. Then subtract the 5, negative 11 equals x. Example 5, with the distributive property. Again, two different ways. The first way is I'm going to divide the 2 out. So then 2 divided by 2, so n plus 5 equals negative 1. Then I'm going to subtract 5, so n equals negative 6. The second way is to actually apply the distributive property. So you have 2 times n, which is 2n, and then 2 times 5, which is 10, equals negative 2. So I subtract 10. So I get 2n equals negative 12. Divide by 2. Those cancel, leaving me with n equals negative 6. And those are some examples of solving two-step equations.